about that.
It's Thursday. The boss is in the house, so sit up straight, mind, be good, pretend you know what's going on, pretend you're awake. I said this morning, I'm dressed, I'm awake, what more do you want? Danny Hensley has just gotten back from a wonderful vacation in Gulf Shores. Is that what it was?
A hot vacation, yes.
A hot vacation.
Very
He said
hot.
it was hotter there than it is here. And we want to talk about something serious. 100 people have lost their lives to heat-related. I mean, this is crazy. So y'all take care of yourself. Now, last week, one of the hottest weeks ever, we had a whole lot of volunteers show up here in Gilmer County.
Yes, we did.
And they were building a beautiful barn that was destroyed in a tornado. Danny, what was ETC's part in this build? I know that a camera was provided. People could watch moment-to-moment construction.
We actually placed a webcam out there. We had one that we put out there, and we got the whole thing actually from beginning to end. So
it was
people
amazing.
could log on to the internet, get on our webpage, and sit there and watch it. So, and we had lots of hits. I don't know the exact number, but I know that Nathan sent out a couple of emails during the weekend that there were several people watching. So that's really good.
Over 600 people volunteered for this event. Many came from across the country. When they left New York, it was hot in New York. They really came to the hot South, but it was so cool to see all these people together. And I want to say thank you to everybody contributed to us, because like Christy Easterwood sent me pictures. She was involved in this day. And sent me pictures and sent me a DVD that I hadn't been able to figure out how to play yet. I don't think her computer likes ours, but everybody shared with us, and I think that's the thing I want to talk about in this event. The Atlanta media gave us about 30 seconds coverage, and I was pretty disgusted with that.
Right.
And I was really proud of ETC for giving you full-time coverage. All you had to do was go to your computer, and you could see it. If you weren't able to get out in the heat, if you bought a case of water and took out there, then you saw it be put to good use. If you donated food for the event, if you did anything, you could sit at home in the cool of your home, and you could watch what was going on, and you could see. It was amazing.
It was. Well, there was something going on continuously. I mean, when it started till when they left, so
Right.
it was just something constantly going on. We had lots of people. Jim Fox took lots of pictures. He took tons of pictures, and if you're friends with Jim on Facebook, and you can get on and see all the pictures. We're going to actually, Roger Newton is doing a documentary for us. He was out there from that morning, well, basically all weekend, and getting footage of that. And so we're going to have maybe a 30-minute or a 1-hour documentary to from beginning to end to see what was going on.
I think it's important to share this. And when I watched, and it was only one channel out of Atlanta that gave us 30 seconds coverage, I was pretty disheartened, because I had been there for a lot of the event, and I had seen the people who cared about it. I've seen people I'd sit here interviewing who would tear up just talking about the idea that volunteers came from everywhere.
They did.
And what a difference it made to see. Now, y'all, get real. New York and Georgia, what do we have in common? We really have a lot in common. We really have a lot in common. And when we welcomed New York says thank you to this community, we did it with open arms, and we were so grateful to them.
We were.
So we were proud to give them the air coverage we gave them. We were really excited to be able to do the webcam, because I don't know if y'all know that, but that shows everything. It shows any and everything. You can tell if people are laying down on the job or working really hard, can't you? Do you have webcams in here when you go on vacation?
No.
That's a good idea, though.
Yeah, it is.
It might be a plan. You might rethink this. Now, this community is very important to you, isn't it?
Yes, it is. I grew up here, so.
You did. You did. And as chicken farmers, does Chick-Fil-A mean anything to y'all?
Yes.
Grew a few chickens in your lifetime?
Afraid so.
Picked up a few dead chickens in your lifetime?
I've done that before, yes.
I bet you have. I bet you have. It is very important to us, because we are your eyes and ears to the area that we serve, from Ball Ground to Turtletown. We want you to keep in mind our sponsors pay for us to be here. You know, we have some great sponsors, and I want to say a big thank you to somebody today. Papa's Pizza has been on board for a long time. Nice folks. And tonight, we're going to take Jason, I think, over there to eat dinner tonight. My kid comes in last night, and I said, you want some fried okra? He said, nope, I went to Papa's Pizza. And I said, well, you little devil, I'm up here frying okra.
Kids love Papa's Pizza.
They love
Yes.
Papa's Pizza, and we want to say thank you to them and to all our other sponsors. It is very important that we let you know about what's going on in the community, and at the same time, we want you to pay attention to the people who sponsor us, who help us out, who volunteer. And out of the volunteers from Gilmer County, there were so many people that I got to meet I didn't know, and then a lot of people that I've known forever, Lucy Harris obviously being one of them. I was excited to see Ellen Grant there. I hadn't seen her in a while, and I was really excited to see her out and about. So it was just a good day for Gilmer County, and to every single person who contributed anything, seriously, from a case of water on up. And right now, they said today is officially the hottest day we are facing.
Yes, I don't know what's the heat index going to be.
117, I believe.
Goodness.
Yeah.
I know that on the radio yesterday they said there were already 2 deaths in Georgia from kids playing football.
Right.
So,
and 100
heat strokes.
nationwide, 100 nationwide. So y'all, please hydrate your children. Now, I start up a little controversy on Facebook, and I loved it because I love when you speak your mind and you speak your opinion. My opinion, because I'm an old girl. Okay, we went to school until the Friday before Memorial Day. We went back to school the Tuesday after Labor Day. Evidently, a lot of my Facebook friends must be my age because they all agreed with that. And then here came the younger kids. They agreed with it. And then here came the parents. They agreed with that. Danny, why are we putting kids back in school August the 4th, 3rd? August the 3rd, Pickens started back to school. It's hot.
It's very hot.
It's hot. I have a grandchild who gets on the bus at 6:15 in the morning, and she gets off the bus at 4:30 in the afternoon. And it's a tough day for a kid. So hydrate your children. Make sure you get them some Gatorade, some Powerade, anything you can do to replenish, because it is tough times right now. Is there any relief in sight?
I don't think so. I've not from what they're talking on the weather. It's just going to be hot.
It is very scary.
Yes.
Yeah, it's very scary, but they said today is officially the hottest day. We hope today that the stock market will heat up a little bit and it'll go back up where it had been. It dropped drastically. A lot of folks were really, really nervous. And according to polls being taken, 73% of America did not agree with what was passed. But we also agreed that something had to be done.
Yes.
So we're just like, get her done, let's go, let's get on with this, and let's recover. And I think that's what everybody's looking forward to, some recovery.
So too.
Yeah, some
Time
recovery.
to move on.
Time to move on.
Yes.
Now, we have seen some real estate sales going on in this community.
We
We've seen
have.
some homes being built again, and we love that because if you build a home, you need telephone service, you need cable, so remember
Need
that.
security.
You need security. There you go. It is important that we look out for each other, and if you see somebody building and you like our services, stop and say, hey, listen, I live up the street and I've got ETC. It's available in your area. Danny,
Give us a call.
Give us a call. Will we ever be able to reach the people who want us out in the Mineral Bluff, for instance? That's an area we get a lot of folks who want to be with ETC.
That's a good question. I don't know.
We really need to.
Right.
A lot of folks will say, I need your service. I live right down the street from so-and-so, and they've got it, you know.
Right. Well, a lot of it's just the expense of it. It's just so
Right.
expensive to build cable out, and you've got to have people there to pay for it to get to be able to pay for it. So.
Well, maybe in the future, because there is an area, I know, Aska Road, Mineral Bluff, I'm trying to think of other areas that I always, every time we're out and about, Rich and I both get the same comments from people who said, well, I have to go to my sister's to watch y'all. Well, we
Right.
like that, because that's family connections. So
That's
there
right.
you go. There you go. But ETC is a big part of this community,
We are.
and a very important part of this community, and we were honored to be part of New York Says Thank You. So to everybody who contributed, thank you very, very much. To everybody who saw the success, I hope you took away a great memory with this. And we're going to let you take a break now, and you're going to go back and do what you do, and I'm going to bring on some folks. Somebody brought us some Chick-Fil-A.
And it smells really
It
good.
smells really good. And then I have some ladies from Ball Ground who brought me a cookbook, and all those ladies had to do was jerk me up a big jar of jelly to bring, and we could sit here and eat about half of these. But we're going to talk to the Chick-fil-A folks in just a second. Then we're going to talk about a beautiful cookbook from Ball Ground, Heirloom Recipes. Looks great. And the artwork is by Paula Dorris, a wonderful lady who is very talented. So you're going to get to meet she and her sister, some of their Yankee friends.
Oh,
we'll be
no.
back in just a minute. We're back. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. I love when folks show up with goodies. And these are goodies called what?
Chicken minis.
Chicken minis, okay. Is it one of the most popular items at Chick-fil-A?
It is. It is.
Love them, love them, love them. Now, tell me what's going on at Chick-fil-A this week. Something special.
We have got a special day this coming Saturday. It's called our Back to School with Chick-fil-A Day. And what it is we are trying to help local schools. So if anyone that comes by to donate any type of school supplies, pencils, Kleenexes, spiral notebooks, anything like that.
Hand sanitizer, which is something,
yes.
that's a biggie. People
Yes.
didn't used to send that to school, but now that's a biggie.
Right. Clorox wipes, those are things that,
Or a book bag.
Yes. That things that they need, not even only when school starts, but throughout the year.
Right.
That they need those. But if anybody that donates any type of school supplies, then we're going to give you a free Chick-fil-A sandwich coupon.
Okay. The reality is, in today's economy, there will be children starting school who can't afford to be there.
Exactly.
It will also be the reality that children are going back to a free lunch after a summer of not much food.
Right.
So, as a community business, have you seen people struggle? Have you noticed the economy really having a hard time dealing with? If you bring in 4 or 5 kids, how do you budget for that?
Right, it is, and we try to, that's one thing that as Chick-fil-A, we try to support the community. Throughout the summer, we probably gave out almost 1,000 vacation Bible school certificates.
That's awesome.
And those Bible school certificates included a Chick-fil-A kids meal coupon. So that was, another way that we were trying to help the community.
Yeah, and I said one of the things I love about Chick-fil-A, and I love supporting them, they were founded by a man who really cared.
Exactly.
And forget the chicken sandwich and forget everything else he ever did.
Right.
What he did for the communities that he serves, it's amazing.
And is still doing as well.
It's amazing, yeah, absolutely. Now, you also have Customer Appreciation Week because you are today in LJ approaching your 2nd anniversary.
Yes, ma'am.
When you first came here, we all looked and said, well, those idiots, they're building in the worst time of the economy. What are they thinking? But it worked.
Right.
It worked.
And Chick-fil-A's always been successful, and so it's going to be our 2-year anniversary. So we just want to do something to, appreciate, the community and say thank you for, for
now,
the business.
Customer Appreciation Week, next week. Oh, and they have great milkshakes, y'all. Milkshake Monday from 4 to 10 only. You buy one shake, you get the second one free.
Yes.
Okay. Tuesday, buy an original Chick-fil-A sandwich, get a second free, limit of 2. And Wednesday, a free Chick-fil-A biscuit from 6:30 to 10:30. What's the deal with that? You just pull up and get a free biscuit?
Absolutely.
Oh, gosh. Wednesday looks like
Yes.
today, 6:30 to 10:30. That's awesome.
Yes. We're also going to do that morning. We're going to do like, morning bingo during breakfast hours. But you're not required to play, but it's, it's still fun and a good family time. And but yeah, as far as the free biscuit, then just any time during breakfast hours.
6:30 to 10:30. Okay, Thursday, free dessert with any combo purchase. Now, have you ever seen anybody drive? I can't believe I'm admitting this, and eat 2 orders of coleslaw? I can do it. I can do it from LJ to Jasper. I can do it. I've done it. It's awesome.
Have you tried our new oatmeal?
No, but I
Okay.
sure do love that coleslaw.
Okay, because the oatmeal, it's in a special little bowl, and that bowl fits in your cup holder in your vehicle, so it's a little bit easier for you to eat while
Okay.
you're driving.
Well, I've learned to master that slaw. And, there are certain things about Chick-fil-A. People think about being weight conscious, and you think, biscuits got a lot of calories, but then you have a great grilled chicken sandwich.
Yes. Also, we have a yogurt parfait, and that's served all day long. And it comes with, some strawberries, fresh strawberries, and you can get either some Harvest Nut granola topping, or you can get like
I tried
Oreo.
that. It was really, really good. Yeah. I would rather have had the Oreo, but I got that darn granola. Okay, who did you bring with you?
I brought my little friend.
She's all dressed up.
Yes.
I love her eyelashes.
Yes.
I wish mine kind of looked like that. Can I borrow those eyelashes? Yeah. Now, Chick-fil-A promoting and doing and giving back is a big, big part of the company.
Absolutely.
Always has been. Always has been. And I did something to you, and I kind of put you on the spot. I have been in the original Chick-fil-A out in Haviland. And that's because I grew up in Atlanta during that year, and I can remember when a chicken sandwich was first introduced, and everybody went, "A what? Huh?" You know, and it took off like crazy.
Right.
Do we have a number on how many chicken sandwiches have been served by Chick-fil-A? Does anybody know?
I'm sure they know. Yes, I'm sure.
Do you think
around
it's
about,
in the billion?
Definitely.
Yeah,
I would think, yeah.
so. Yeah, yeah.
Definitely.
Okay, if you pulled up to Chick-fil-A today and ordered your meal, what would your favorite meal be?
I would probably get, as far as breakfast,
I don't care.
Okay.
Whatever meal.
breakfast, the chicken minis are my favorite.
Yeah, I could eat about 2/3 of those.
Right.
Yeah.
And then for lunch, one of my favorite is either the spicy chicken sandwich or
That's
the char
awesome.
grill.
Yeah, yeah. Char grill's
So-
good. And char grill's good if you put a little bit of coleslaw on it as you're driving down the road. God, I hope the Georgia State Troopers aren't watching
Right.
today. Don't do it. Well, thank you very much for being here, and thank you for bringing us this. And again, on Friday, there's going to be a drawing for a small nugget tray every hour. So if your office has several people in there who might be hungry, go by and put your name in there, drawing for that. And on Saturday, register to win chicken for a year. One coupon for each week of the year. So there you go. Thank you
Yes.
very much.
And it's a Chick-fil-A meal, and you don't have to be present to win.
Okay.
So you're just going to fill out a registration card. We'll give you a call and
Cool.
let you know that you won.
And don't forget, this Saturday, please give back to the community by supporting Chick-fil-A Back to School. And there will be many kids in our area who go back to school with nothing, even
Right.
without a pencil or paper. So this can make a difference in a child's life. We're going to take a break, and when we come back, I'm loving it. I've got some older ladies coming up with me. They're about my age, which is really cool. So I love it. Having this baby here, you know, I've had to feed her info because she didn't even know about the 60s. Good Lord.
I wasn't here.
I know she wasn't here. We'll be back in just a second. Paula Dorris has joined us, and with us, Paula, tell us who you brought with you.
I brought some ladies from our garden club. Netza Gada, and it means ball ground in the Cherokee language. And this was started by some ladies in ball ground in the 1950s. And but
When I was a baby.
Of
We
course.
Yeah, darn it.
And I brought my sister Jinnie. She's been in the garden club probably longer than almost anyone. And
And Jinnie lives in a beautiful home in Ball Ground as you come by the Wheeler house right there on top of the hill. One of the old, beautiful, beautiful homes.
Built in 1906.
Wow. Wow. Okay, who's next?
and this is my friend Beverly.
And Beverly's my friend on Facebook. There you go.
And this is Drina. She's from California, and she just recently joined us, and we're so proud to have her because in doing our cookbook, we couldn't have managed without these two. And then Jinnie knows everybody that in the world, and she got out and sold almost
ads.
all the
I
ads.
love this because it's heirloom recipes. My favorites are your grandmother's recipes, your great aunt's recipes, the recipes that you grew up with. I think that is one of the greatest things to share with the next generation and the next generation and the next generation. So, now Paula, tell us a little bit about the artwork.
Well, I did the artwork from the second one that we did. Now we've done
Let me
so
see.
far
Okay.
3. From the 3, we've done 3 cookbooks. The ladies started one, and then when we started to do this one, I did the artwork, and on each of the little pages has something else. And I did it with a little pen that I had at my desk, and I sat at my desk and I just etched them all.
Wow. Now, you knew my mama.
Yes, I did.
And we have some favorite sayings about Mama and cooking because Mama could go to the refrigerator, and if you opened the refrigerator, you would say, there's nothing to eat, and you'd close the refrigerator. Well, Mother would take whatever was in the refrigerator and make a mystery meal. And you might not know what you were eating, but it would be good.
I'm sure it was.
It would be good. And I think that's one of the greatest things in hard times you create. And I think that is one of the greatest things about a cook. A recipe is only a beginning. So Jinnie might like part of the recipe and then give it to you, and you might like say, that's a little too much onion for me. I think I'll switch it around a little bit. And then give it to you, and then by the time it gets back to Paula, you're going, that's my recipe? But a recipe is only a beginning.
That's true. And I remember Joe from Woodbridge telling me one night, because my husband was bragging on me a little bit, because he said, when we get down to the point where we don't have a lot in our larder, she can come up with something. And he said, I want to hire you. That was one of the best compliments I think I've ever gotten, but
Oh,
you're
yeah.
absolutely right.
Yeah. Yeah, and you can start with a family favorite. And have you ever had fried bread?
Oh, yes.
Well, Mama used to make fried bread, and it meant that there was nothing else in the house, and it's flour and water. And then if we were lucky, we had some of the white Cairo syrup that the commodities food. Granny always got it, and she would share with us, and we would use some of that. That is one of the best meals you ever put in your mouth.
Daddy used to
Simple
make
and
us
sweet and
chocolate syrup to go on ours.
Oh, wow.
That was one of our best meals.
Wow. Now, what's a favorite recipe from your family?
I just think everything from the garden has been our favorites all
Right.
down through the years. Mother could make green beans that would, they were
yeah.
so good.
Oh, yeah.
And the fried okra. Fortunately, Jinnie can cook a lot like they did.
Now,
And
did you learn from them or from memories?
From
of-
them,
Okay.
actually. Some from them, and then some from just memories.
And your greatest memory of my grandmother was banana pudding. That was kind of her specialty. What was your mother or your grandmother's favorite?
Probably, well, we've had the banana pudding also, but some of the like tea cakes we always
yeah.
enjoyed, and going to my aunt's and
But you
making
can't
fudge.
eat but one tea cake. You have to eat 40. That's right. They melt in your mouth, and you're like, I can't believe I ate that whole thing. You know. Now, what's a favorite family recipe for you?
Coconut cake.
Oh gosh, I love coconut
Fresh,
cake.
fresh.
coconut cake.
Yeah, my mother made that.
Oh my
grandmother.
gosh. Do you make a really good one?
I have in the past. I'm getting lazy with cake mixes and stuff.
Well, it's easy to do. It's
It
easy
is.
to do. Now, do they use fresh coconut or frozen
Oh,
coconut?
fresh.
Fresh.
Yes.
Wow.
Crack that coconut and
Oh,
pour the
you're
milk
kidding.
out.
Uh-huh.
Grate it.
That is awesome. I don't know that I've ever had a cake like that.
Mama would do it. She cracked it, and we would have to grate it, and sometimes you'd get your knuckles in there, too.
I've never had one. Okay, give me a really good California recipe.
Oh, well, because I'm Swedish, actually one of my favorite recipes is Swedish pancakes. And you
Oh,
have to have a
wow.
special pan to make them, but that's from childhood, that's what I remember. But my favorite recipe in this cookbook is chocolate cake.
Oh, wow.
We have a wonderful recipe for that.
I want you to go to my website because I have a recipe on there. I think it's 5th generation, and it's Swedish meatballs.
Oh, yeah.
A friend in Alaska gave me this, and it's his great-great-great-grandmother's recipe.
Oh.
And I'd never had homemade Swedish meatballs, and we went to Alaska, and we filmed this, and we're still talking about those meatballs.
Yeah.
The best I ever put in my mouth, and it's so simple.
Yeah,
But it was so good.
Well, my
So
parents were actually from Sweden. I'm a first-generation American.
Wow, wow. Now, California to Ball Ground, Georgia.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit about how and why you were lucky enough to do this.
Oh, I am. I'm blessed to be
Yes,
here.
yeah.
Georgia, I thought would be a good move and interesting. Well, it's been more than that. It's wonderful to live in North Georgia. The people are the best.
They are.
Charming.
Yeah.
Absolutely charming.
Yeah.
There is, Southern hospitality. I thought that was just a phrase till I
Have
moved
a
here.
little sweet tea and a hug.
Oh,
I mean, that's what we're all about.
Sweet tea.
Sweet tea.
Yeah.
Sweet tea.
That's right.
So friendly. Everybody's embraced me. My neighbors insisted I come for Christmas the first year, my husband and I. And
Now, where do you live?
I live in Nelson,
Okay.
so which is just next door to Ball
Right,
Ground. But they let me come to the
absolutely.
Ball Ground Garden Club.
Okay, okay. Now, the economy in California, because I'm in the trucking business, we always say what happens in California dwindles down 2 years, it gets to us. It takes
Yeah,
y'all 2 years
I've
to
heard
figure
that.
out we're over here. What is the economy like in California today?
Well, I've been here for 2 years now, and it was going downhill. The housing market and all that, and moving here was just a wonderful move. The taxing is better, and the
Is it?
yeah, oh,
Good,
yeah,
cool.
yeah, and the
Yeah.
housing prices, and no, Georgia's just been a fantastic move.
We have a cousin who lives in Lake Isabella, California,
Oh,
and she has a little
very familiar.
cottage. And her little 2-bedroom, 1-bath cottage was $250,000. Well, $250,000 here will get you a pretty nice house.
Absolutely. When we
Yeah.
sold our house in California, we bought a much nicer home here for half the price.
Right, wow.
So, don't you
Wow.
love Georgia?
Yes, I do.
do.
Yes, I do.
I
Now-
think we ought to go to California and do listings.
Yeah, yeah.
Send them our listings.
Now, Paula, let's talk about the real estate market because you and I, and one of my dearest friends, God love her, I can't believe my baby girl, I took Lori Tipton to Alaska. I introduced her to the wonderful world of Alaska. She stayed there. She has been with NBC up there for 4 years now. She is coming off the network news to sell real estate.
Oh, she's crazy.
I said, what girl are you thinking? But she says it's the right time in Alaska. And I
could
hope
be.
that it is.
It
I hope
could
that
be.
it is. Because the economy here, it's not the right time. You and I sold real estate for, I was in it 20 years.
I've
How
been in
many
it.
years?
Well, I started selling at 20. I was first office manager at Bentley.
Right.
I came from a bank to work there. And but this is the worst I've ever seen.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I think the banks that were taken over by the FDIC dumping stuff with guaranteed loans, and Jinnie, you can talk about this. We like small town banking. You like small town banking. We all like small town banking where you walk in, the banker knows your name. Today, you may get a call from Chase, Manhattan. Those guys don't know your name. They don't care what your name is. But I think that's one of the things that really hurt the market here.
It
And you
was.
as a realtor, I know realtors who are now greeters in Walmart because they had to have an income of some kind.
Right.
And real estate was kind of our fun game. We loved it.
I
We
love
loved it.
putting the right house with the right person.
Absolutely.
And making friends. They're lifelong friends once you sell them a house and help them to.
Right. Now I'm
Get
trying to
their
think, if
dream.
you live in Nelson,
Yes.
what area do you live in?
Well, I live in the Winchester Oaks
Okay.
subdivision.
Nice subdivision, yeah.
But my house faces Pickens Street, which
Okay.
all the others face,
Yeah.
the cul-de-sacs.
Right.
But I love Nelson. It's a
Yeah,
nice small
it is
town.
it is a well-kept secret.
It is.
It's a well-kept secret. Now, I said I love barbecue, and I even told these ladies I could eat cornflakes barbecued. I mean, I just love barbecue. And we talked about Two Brothers. That's part of the history of Ball Ground. There's so much history in Ball Ground.
Oh, I know.
So much history in Ball Ground. How could you two form a committee that would welcome people and convince them to come to Ball Ground?
We could,
Absolutely.
Now, how long
that'd
has
be-
your family been there?
for generations. Actually, our great-grandfather did have a team of oxen and a scoop, and the city would hire him to clean that hill up by my house when it was a dirt road. So we go back for several generations.
Now, about your house, we said it was built in 1906. Who was the family who first lived there?
The first family was the Hardens, that were friends to the Hubbards that had the clothing store.
My
Remember Miss
grandmother's
Cora
best
Hubbard?
friend was the Hubbards. So, you know, there you go.
And
There you
David's
go.
great best friend was the Hubbard ladies that lived next door to us.
Right, yeah.
And but the Hardens lived there, so one of the Hubbard girls married a Harden, and
Is that
since they were
Jewel?
next door. No, it was Loma Harden.
Okay, Loma, okay.
And but then they sold the house to David's grandparents in the 20s. So David being
In
the only
the 20s,
child.
Jinnie, what did that house sell for?
Gee, I've got a copy of the deeds, but I don't know how much it
I would
was.
say less than $5,000.
I would think so.
Would you think that?
Probably.
Today, what's your house valued at?
Oh, I'm not sure what it would be today.
Half
Of course,
a
it got
million. Yeah.
higher, and it's just recently got lower, I'm sure. But,
Such a beautiful place.
well, thank you.
Oh,
Thank
it's
you.
so pretty, so
Built
pretty.
in 1906.
Wow. Now, as an old town ball ground girl, okay, do you welcome newcomers?
Oh, yes,
You
we
like
certainly
it?
do. Actually, this one from
She
someone.
found me.
She met a lady from the garden club at the doctor's office, and she told her, said, contact Jinnie Byers about the garden club, and she did. And then this lady keeps the streets clean at Nelson.
Yeah.
She picks up trash all the
My
time.
husband and I,
kidding?
we're the trash collector. No, we just go every week and pick up all the trash that people throw out. And she saw that in the newspaper because someone had written an article about that, and calls me up and says, do you want to come to the garden club? And I said, well, I have to be honest with you. I said, we got this award because we pick up trash, not because we have a pretty garden. She goes, it's okay. So, here I am.
So that's how we recruit.
She's so friendly.
Now, how many members of the garden club right now?
We have about 25.
Okay.
And actually, it was chartered in 1951 with 29 charter members. And actually, I have a copy of the Bennetts from back then, 1951.
Wow.
So, and then with that, we decided we would, to celebrate our 60th anniversary, we would do this cookbook. And
Now, where can people purchase the cookbook?
from us.
How do they find you?
Okay. At our home, I guess, and our phone numbers.
Are any stores in Ball Ground offering the cookbook?
No, they have offered to sell it for us at JJ's. They've offered there, and at the Doghouse, and at Uncle Pepper's,
And Red Rooster.
Red Rooster, the antique shop in town.
Okay.
Early.
So we will probably be leaving some there, so people can pick up one.
And
there.
I said, this is one I would love, Ma Dean's tea cakes.
That was
And I know,
Yeah.
I do, let me tell you something. These, you can't eat one.
These
you
are
cannot
authentic.
eat one, yeah. Wow, wow. Let's talk about the Dean family.
Okay.
Let's talk
I
about.
love to talk about the Dean family.
Let's talk a little bit about their history in Ball Ground and what they meant to the community.
Well, as we were growing up, my grandmother and grandfather were there, and I think that at any time, the people from up in this area, where they originally came from, would come by there, and they would always find a meal at my grandmother and grandfather's house.
And tell folks who your grandparents were.
There was Tom and Minnie Dean. She goes back to the Kahlers, and he was a Dutch school teacher, and he came here to teach actually the children from Cherokees, and then as the pioneers came in, he taught them. And
Now, we
go
haven't touched much on the Cherokee. What an important role they played in Ball Ground.
Oh,
Yes,
yes.
the Battle
Yeah.
of Talloowa.
Yeah, what an important role. And do we know why Ball Ground got its name?
Well, that was because they did have a ball game there. The Creek and Cherokees had a ball game there to see who would have the upper and lower part of Georgia, and the Cherokees won.
And then we need to talk about what happened to the Cherokee.
Well, of course, that was a sad situation, very sad, because, of course, when the gold was found, then they started trying to take it away, and they went on the Trail of Tears, and some of my mother's family was on that Trail of Tears, and they escaped.
Survivors?
They did survive, and they came back into the mountains of North Carolina, and but they had hidden gold. I learned this from my aunts because they were talking about two of the grandmothers meeting at Sharp Mountain Creek. And I said, what were they doing down there? They were looking for pottery. Of course, they would come from North Carolina to Sharp Mountain for pottery. Pottery and then they would take this gold back, give it to this man up in North Carolina. He would purchase the property because Indians couldn't own any, and he purchased it for them and then gave it back to them.
Wow.
The government didn't give them that land that's up there; they bought it.
Right. It is a very sad story, and if you haven't read the book, Forrest Wade did a book called Cry of the Eagle, and it is a great, really a trip. You take that trip with them. I don't think you understand now. Have you been up to Cherokee and seen Unto These Hills? What a tearjerker. Have you?
No, I have not.
Well, I'm planning a trip for you.
Okay.
Another trip. Go see Unto These Hills. Because if you live where the Cherokee lived, that is a moment in history that will tear you up. It will really tear you up. Because what happened to the Cherokee was a very sad situation.
I agree.
But Ball Ground was full of that history, wasn't it?
It was.
Now next week we're going to have a person from the library in Ball Ground. Susan White's actually going to come up.
Yes.
Now, 40-year history.
She's retiring.
She is retiring. Now, Jinnie, how many years did you work at the bank?
Oh, 40. I retired from Regions Bank, which was Citizens Bank.
Right.
At 43 years, and then I worked with United Community for, actually 46 years.
46 years in banking. Wow. Have you seen a few changes?
Many changes,
Yes.
and I think I retired at the most wonderful time in history.
Absolutely. Now, we've got a birthday or an anniversary. Let's see. Okay, an anniversary. Oh, my gosh. This is Marjorie Mull's aunt and uncle. Ernest and Dora Land have been married 71 years today. And he is a preacher, and this is called in by Margie and Charlie, who live out on Boartown Road and happen to have one of the prettiest yards you ever saw. Happy anniversary, 71 years. That's incredible. That is a milestone.
long time.
Yeah, that's a milestone. Do you know, we had a loan at, when you said Citizens, I'd forgotten all about that, for an old double wide trailer, $251.22 a month, and it was a $10,000 loan, and that's when you could walk in and say, "Hey, I'm Cherie Martin. Could I borrow $10,000?" "Yes, ma'am."
Didn't even have a credit bureau.
It's a different world today.
Actually, I started before we even had account numbers. You know, you learn people by their signatures.
Oh,
You had to
wow.
know all those signatures.
Isn't that something?
Yes.
Wow.
Lots of changes.
Now, when you retired, did you go home and just sit on the porch and rock, or are you staying busy?
No, the garden club's keeping me busy.
Okay. What do y'all do besides cookbooks?
We do a lot of things. We put up a Blue Star marker. We've done that. We just donated a willow tree to the park and help anyone who needs help.
Reinhardt
And,
College. We donated a tree to
Yes,
Reinhardt College.
we do help Zach over at Reinhardt. And what are some of the other things that we do? Drina?
4-H.
Oh, yes, we
scholarship.
send.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we
Yeah.
do the 4-H summer camp for a child every year.
Now, what do you have to do to join the garden club?
Just come to our club, and if you like us, and then we'll vote you in. And
Well, you have to come to two
Two
meetings,
meetings.
and
Okay.
then you don't come to the third one, and we vote on you.
Okay. Have you ever said no?
No.
I was worried when I was a gal from California.
Because my granny'd say, "She ain't our kind, is she?"
That's right.
Well, you bring a great flavor to something
Oh,
that, you know, we already have the Southern thing going on, but it's nice to know what people in other places are doing and how it's.
Oh, and it's so much fun to live
Actually,
in the South.
we had a tea at the Wheeler House for our installation of officers, and Drina just kept commenting about our Southern hospitality. It made us
It's
all feel
so
so
true.
good that someone out
Now
of
that
there
means you
checked-
just got to walk next door to.
Right.
That's pretty
And I
cool,
live
isn't it?
right behind Jinnie, so I was right there as well. And but there's something else about Drina she hasn't mentioned, but she runs races, and she does it for the garden club.
Yeah, I did.
sometimes.
I ran a 5K for the garden club. It was to support another garden. And so I had a running shirt embroidered with our logo, and I actually got second place in my age group, so I did a good job.
That is neat. Now, you know, we've been talking about old houses in Ball Ground. There's a particular old house that I love up behind you, behind the brick house, the white two-story. Is it for sale now?
No, Calvin Hill, our representative, owns that
Okay.
house, and someone's leasing it, I think,
Is
right now.
that not the most
I
beautiful
lived there
thing?
when
beautiful.
my little girl was little, and she'd slip off and go out to Jinnie's, and we did everything. We even put a nail up and so she wouldn't slip off, and she put chairs on the stoops so she could go out.
Sounds like her. That sounds like her.
Now, that house was built by Dr. McClure, and then the Hubbards bought it from them. And the Hubbards lived there until they built the pink marble house down
Right.
there.
Now, let's talk about the biggest disaster in the world in Ball Ground, and it breaks my heart right across the street. The mansion.
Oh, yes.
The mansion.
Oh, they're working on it.
Oh, please, let somebody
They
restore
are.
that mansion.
Sandra Homiller is in our group,
Yeah.
and
Our garden club.
she's helping us do a show.
That is the most beautiful place.
It is. It is very pretty.
Wow.
And I understand the Homiller boys are working on that.
That
going
is
to be
awesome.
restored.
That,
She told
that
us
is
at the
going to
last
be
meeting.
a reason to come to Ball
Oh,
Ground.
yes.
I mean, that people will come there just to go, wow, wow, and it's been hidden behind all that stuff for all those years. Will they clean the bank off, you think, so
I
you can
think
actually
so.
see it?
Mhm.
I
She said they
can't
were going to work on
wait.
it.
I'd
Yes,
go there
uh-huh.
to
I
play
hear
with
them.
Jane when we were in the same grade in school. We
Oh,
grew up
wow.
together, and I love that mansion. I'd have dreams about it.
Oh, yeah. Now, how old is that house?
It was probably built, earlier than the 20s, somewhere around the 20s, I
I
think.
would
Yeah, it's the
say-
20s, because it was also referred to as the house that broke the bank, because Mr. Striplin was at one of the banks. There was 3 banks actually in Ball Ground, the Bank of Ball Ground, and Ball Ground Bank, and then it was Citizens Bank. One sold to the other, and the last one went bankrupt. And then they formed the Citizens Bank in 1926. And
Wow.
actually that house was built in the 20s, because Laura Mitchell, that used to work at our bank.
Oh, and I
since
remember
passed-
her like
You remember her?
yesterday.
Yes. Well, her uncle, Rembrandt Allison, put the parquet in that hallway and helped in that house. So.
That is, I hope. I mean, it's like the Pink Mansion down at Tate. People come to see that mansion. There's a reason to come to Ball Ground if they can just get that house in order.
Yeah,
They
we
are.
referred to
They're
that as the
working on
Love Lady Mansion.
Oh, it's beautiful.
Growing up.
It is beautiful.
And people would go there to have their prom pictures.
Oh,
made and
yeah.
everything. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. But Sandra Homiller is in our garden club, and her family owns her
Right.
husband, or one of the
Right.
sons there. And they're going to restore it.
One of her brother-in-laws used to eat with me every day, and that was the kindest man. And Henry would pay for his food, and then he would say, "Thank you very, very much. Thank you so much. Everything is so good. Thank you very much." And I always remember what a kind man he was.
Yes,
He
I went to
was.
high school with
Such a
him.
kind person. Yeah.
Yeah, I went to high
Well,
school
I'm
with Henry.
excited now. Y'all have given me something to look forward to. I'll be down there taking pictures of that. I
That's
can't
neat.
wait. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we can't wait either.
Now, right now, Ball Ground has a new business in Shorty and Betty's building, the little meat shop.
Yes.
Whatever.
Mhm.
And then something next door to that. And then there's several little antique shops and a gallery. And what else is going on in Ball Ground?
Well, we have the lady up on the corner that does the embroidering,
she did our
AME,
shirts.
and she does our shirts. And right there that's on the corner, what used to
Right.
be Kegel's Cafe and the bus stop, right there. There's 2 shops there, gift shops there. And yes, JJ's is in Shorty and Betty's.
Right.
And we
building.
love JJ's.
Yeah.
It's like your little European pub. You can go in there, have a beer, have a pizza, and children are running around. They don't let you bring your dogs yet like they do in Europe, but it is nice.
Now I'm gonna get in trouble. I don't want to eat with a dog. I'm sorry. And I know at the Woodbridge Inn, I know sometimes because of the European flair, sometimes people will actually bring it. No, I don't want to. Don't eat with my own dog. Don't want to eat with my dog. But that is a very European thing.
It is,
isn't it? Yeah.
absolutely.
Now my granddaughter Tori would want to bring the dog. She'd want us to sit at a place at the table. So.
And actually, we have the Rusty Rooster there too, the antique shop, and Drina Beverly has some things there. It's a consignment
Right.
type shop.
It's
and
an
we have
interesting
that.
place.
And, and the Ball Ground Business Association is going to be having a movie night.
When is that?
And that will be a Saturday, August the 13th, start at 5 o'clock, and it's a family night. And you bring your children, and everyone that sets up the business, that sets up tables and booths, they will have to have a gift to give to the children.
And
a
that's
prize.
when we'll sell our books.
And we're going to be there selling the books, and then they'll have a nice. We don't know
And
the
it's
name
on
of the
August
movie.
13th?
August 13th.
Okay.
In Calvin Farmer Park. And Calvin Farmer was.
Do we want to talk a
Freddie's-
little bit about
Let's do.
Yes, let's do.
We want to talk about the connection with Calvin Farmer and the Brackets and such a great family.
And we're sorry we're missing Freddie today.
And Freddie should have been here today. But Miss Zona Lee, it was very important to her that park be named in honor of her daddy. And that's a very special place. It's a very special place.
And
She's
so
a
they let
very
us
special-
buy the land there at a reduced price to put the community building on, and that has really helped Ball Ground to have that civic
I
center.
love the
And
new
that's what
little
we need.
sidewalk that's coming down from Ball Ground and coming all the way down to the park.
And it was in that park that we planted the weeping willow tree that we maintain. That was our latest project. Of course, we
Right.
do donate to like national disaster relief and roadside beautification. We do this through the Garden Club of
Garden
Georgia.
therapy.
And garden therapy for the mentally ill. We do those things too.
Cool. Now, do you ever go out to schools and talk to kids about gardening? Because see, I think it's a time now that everybody learns to plant a little something and learns to see what will happen from just either a bulb. And I told you I love iris. I have some really beautiful old iris.
Well,
and
you'll
they're
have to
just so
bring me
special.
one. I have one of my paintings. I don't know if you've been in the library at Jasper, but I have the calla lilies there. And so bring me one. I'll do it for
That's
you.
cool. That is cool. And I want you to go to my website and get the Swedish meatball recipe and
I'm going
compare it
to.
to yours.
Okay.
It is so good. It is so good. And it is like fifth generation
Yeah.
Swedish. So. And it's so simple. It's so simple.
yeah.
Now, out of these recipes, are there people in here, when you look at the cookbook, do you sometimes get a tear to your eye? 'Cause
Oh,
you have some
yes,
great memories?
absolutely.
Yes,
60
because-
years.
Well, I still make the sweet potato souffle every Christmas, every Thanksgiving that Miss Quarles put in there.
There's, yes, in the back section, there's
old
the
section.
recipes for of our charter members, like our first president, Ms. Catherine Malone, and Ms. Frank Quarles, and Ms. Annabelle
Was she
Wheeler.
related to Mike Malone?
I don't think
Susan?
so.
No.
I'm not sure. But
Summer pizza. Oh, that looks interesting. Cool. Well, I hope, now how much, we didn't talk about the cost of these. What's the
They're
cost?
$20.
$20, okay.
When we first started this one, it was 10.
Right.
But we
I did
we
one of these first,
upgraded.
and then I went to hardback, and I really like having the hardback.
we thought it would be worth the difference, and the people would like that
Absolutely.
with a 3-ring binder. They can
Right.
add the recipes to
They
it,
make
other
such great
recipes.
gifts.
And it's a great gift for people who might have lived in Ball Ground and moved away. And do you have a website where folks can go to? Is there any way?
No,
Okay.
not yet.
Okay, you need to do that.
I
I'm giving you a
agree.
project. I'm giving you a project. You
So,
need
yeah.
to connect with people who left Ball Ground. And that's kind of a sad thing, but a lot of people did leave Ball Ground to go find work.
Exactly. Yeah, my husband and I play the game. Remember when? Remember when so-and-so lived in Ball Ground?
Yeah,
Well, like I lived all over the United States, but I came back home.
that's right. Now, do you live in an old house too?
I do. I had the one, the very old one. We renovated it down on the old highway, but they just recently tore it down to build a school.
Right.
And that was one of the
Yeah.
old Roberts houses.
Right.
And but I now live in just behind Jinnie in one of the old houses where David was born.
Wow.
And I love it. Just
That is
we've just
awesome.
gotten through renovating it, and
Such
it's
history. Now, in the Ball Ground Library, is there something, I know in the City Hall there are some old photographs people can see of downtown Ball Ground back when. What about in the library? Is there anything?
I don't think there is. Nothing except, well, I know
Barbara
that we
has a
had
great
Miss
history.
Georgia Coggins' room there, and actually she was she lived at the Roberts house on the A.W. Roberts Drive, one of the historic houses in Ball Ground, and she was a member of the First Baptist Church and a very strong Christian lady, and so they named that library, the room, the Georgia Coggins room. So I know they have her picture there, but other pictures, I don't know if it is.
Well, I think everybody should take a trip down to City Hall and Ball Ground and just look at the pictures on the wall.
We're so
There's
proud
a
of
really
We're
good-
proud of Rick too. I think
Yeah.
Rick has done a
Done a great
marvelous
job.
job in Ball Ground.
Downtown Ball Ground has a little different look than it did 20 years ago. Just a little different look.
But growing up in Ball Ground, I was born and raised there, and I think it's one of the most marvelous little towns. It's a safe town, and this is one thing you thought about today. We didn't even bother to lock the car.
Yeah, it's safe and
Where did you live in California?
in Fillmore, California, Ventura County.
Right. God bless you for coming here.
That's right.
You escaped.
I did.
Well, Beverly came up from Florida.
Yes.
What part of Florida?
Between Gainesville and Jacksonville.
Okay. Okay. I
North
lived in
Florida.
Orlando many years when Orlando was
Yeah.
a small town, and then that darned old Walt Disney flew over in that helicopter and saw that place. Pretty much destroyed Florida. He built a great park, but it changed a small town. And Orlando was a small town.
Yeah, I
so.
grew up in Camp Landing on Kingsley Lake, and then raised my children in Stark, and then lived in Keystone Heights on a lake.
Wow. And you chose Ball Ground because?
Family business
Okay.
brought us here, and but I did real estate also in Florida, and worked
It
with
was
the
a great
elderly.
job, wasn't it?
Oh,
It was really a great job. Yeah,
I
we
still
all
have
love
my
that.
license.
That's one of the fun things with working at the bank. When people come in, they were from somewhere else. It's like, how did you get to Ball Ground?
Who gave you the map and directed you to this tiny town?
That was
We
always
love
so
it.
interesting.
Yeah, it's a beautiful little town. Well, ladies, thank you very, very much. And for your copy of Heirloom Recipes, you can find one of these ladies, or you can show up in Ball Ground on
August the 13th.
August the
13th.
13th. Is it a Saturday?
Saturday night.
Saturday night.
Saturday
5
night.
o'clock.
At what time?
At 5 o'clock.
Calvin Farmer Park? Okay.
And
Very
we're
good.
giving away seed packets
Yes.
to
Okay.
the kids.
Cool,
We'll
cool.
see packets.
So come out and make yourself a purchase. This will be a really good Christmas present. Buy it early and get your Christmas shopping done. So thank you for my
Thank
copy.
you so much.
And we need some jelly to go with these, ladies.
We'll get you some.
We'll bring it back.
The week is almost over. I can't believe it. Friday is here. Tomorrow, we're almost done. It has been an amazing week of saying goodbye to my friend Jim Taylor and saying hello to old friends like Paula. You know, look around, find something. You are so blessed. If you are here today in North Georgia, so many blessings going on. To look and see what happened in our community a week ago when volunteers from all over the nation came to help us. To look and see what you can do for your neighbor, and to look and see what's been done for you. Every single day I wake up and say, oh boy, am I blessed. And on those days that I get a little down, and I was kind of disappointed in myself, when I found out about Jim, instead of rejoicing his life, I fell apart. It was tough. It was tough because I met him through this program. And we became friends quickly. He cooked for me. He was a great cook. He was such a good cook. And I want to tell you, one moment can change forever. So if you have something that you need to deal with it, because we're not guaranteed tomorrow. We're not
No.
guaranteed tomorrow. Thank you, ladies, for being
Well, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
We've
From North
enjoyed
Georgia
it.
now today, I never say goodbye, but I will say we will see you later. Don't forget, here comes my buddy Rich Scott. He's got a lot of things to sell on Trading Time, and if you have things you'd like to clean out and turn your trash into cash, call him. He is available here Monday through Friday, just like I am. We'll be here, and you be here too, only on ETC 3. Now, how do you say that?
Anetza